Hi, I'm Kandra with Olive Goods. I'm here today to show you how we create infusions to color our soaps. I fielded a bunch of questions last week in regards to how colors are made, what colors can be achieved, and we use all natural botanicals. So we use clays, we use some powders, some are created from what we call slurries or teas, and many of them are created from oil infusions. So today I need to restock up on some yellow and some blue. So for those colors, we use annatto seed and we use indigo powder. So let's start with the annatto seeds first. So we have some, we use mason jars for smaller infusions. Typically we do larger amounts of the annatto because we use it so much, but we're going to just do a smaller infusion today for example's sake. The first thing we do is we're going to put in whatever botanical we're going to be infusing. I'm doing this all by weight. I have my notes over here. Let me see. Okay. Now with the annatto seed, really like this one because we can reuse these seeds. Basically, after we use it, we'll top off the jar and let it start another infusion. Like to get as much use out of all our ingredients as possible. Okay, so that one's set up. And now this is organic olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. And we're just going to weigh it out to fill it up there. I'm reading numbers on the scale here. I know you can't see it, but that is what's going on. There we go. Okay, let me wipe that down. Pretty easy, right? So really we're just based off of some of the testing we've done and our experience with colors. We know how much of a botanical needs to go in with how much oil and how long it needs to sit for. So we'll give this a little shake here, let all those seeds get nice and coated with the oil, and we'll let that sit. Now this jar will sit for about 4 to 6 weeks before it's ready to use. For those soap makers out there, if you've read my book, we've covered all of this in the book, including how much you should be using. And we've also talked about doing what's called a hot infusion versus a cold infusion, where you can use low heat to speed up the infusion process. If we needed this right away, we would do a hot infusion, but we always prefer to do a cold infusion, or sometimes we'll do a blended infusion. So we'll infuse it for a few hours on heat and then let it sit for a couple of weeks, try and get a little deeper, more long-lasting color with it. The next one I wanted to show you, because I did field quite a few questions about this particular color last week, and let me put my gloves on here. It is indigo. So indigo is an extract from a plant. When you use the plant, the dried plant matter, you'll get green. But if you use a fermented version of the plant that's then dried and extracted, you'll get a wonderful blue. This is the same colorant that's used, and you're probably familiar with fabric dyes. We get ours from Ann George. Hi, Ann. It's very messy and it's very potent. So let's just look at the annatto real quick, and you can see we used quite a bit of the annatto seed. With the indigo, just checking my notes, we're not going to use nearly as much. Okay. Do one more. That'll get us a little bit more. I'm putting, for those soap makers out there, I know you're going to be curious, I'm putting 5 grams in my jar. Okay. Well, we're just going to have a mess with that no matter where I put it. Very messy, very powdery, lovely, lovely blues. I'm going to put this back away in its keep everything else from being blue bag. Okay. And then the same thing here, we're going to fill our jar with our oils. Okay, so I was going specifically by grams. Some hobby soap makers will not measure as strictly, and that's fine. We just like to be as clear as we can. So that looks like it's already pretty dark, but that's just the indigo powder floating around in there. You can kind of see a little bit dripping down from the sides. This, if I hadn't have shaken this and just let it sit, you would see a separation, much like you would in here, but only very little. Here is a version of indigo that has been infusing. It's about a this looks like it's about 6 months old. I'm reading, I've got labels here that we record all of our information on. So this has been going for about 6 months. We've been using, I do top the indigo off as well. This one's was on its last top off. So we are going to start a new one here. So that's it. Here's a little preview of the sheets we use. They're nothing too fancy. It just gives us a chance to list the oils and botanicals that we're using, understand how much we've put in, when we've used it, so some of the record keeping we do here. But that's it. I will go and put these on the shelf. They will set up for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then we'll be ready to make some soaps for you. So we'll be doing yellows and oranges with the annatto. We'll be doing blues with the indigo. We'll even combine some of them to make some green soaps. So go ahead, check out our custom soap offerings on the website. And I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me while I got some of my work done today. All right, everyone. Thanks.